Brown sugar flotation is a fast way to detect fruit fly eggs and larvae in fresh cherry fruit. Cherries are officially a fruit fly host, so must be subjected to a quarantine treatment before sale in fruit fly sensitive markets. However, it is incredibly rare to find a cherry naturally infested by Queensland fruit fly. Collecting real data on infestation rates could help us replace existing quarantine treatments with a system of pre-harvest monitoring and post-harvest inspection, an approach already being trialled by some state authorities. To conduct the tests, you will need a cherry crushing machine, brown sugar, a few dark coloured trays at least 5 centimetres deep that fit beneath the crusher, a refractometer to measure bricks, an eyedropper to sample any suspect objects that you find, and finally a magnifier and some ID charts to help determine whether or not you have found Queensland fruit fly. Make the solution by mixing 4 kilos of brown sugar with 20 litres of hot water. Weigh out the sugar first, then add the hot water and stir to make sure it's fully dissolved. Check the bricks of the solution with a refractometer. It needs to be at least 16 or eggs and larvae won't float. If convenient, you can make the solution in advance and store it for several weeks in the cold room. Unless you've already detected flies in the orchard, you can use reject fruit for the test. They're the most likely to contain fruit fly larvae anyway. The number of cherries per crush depends on fruit size. Just count how many cherries cover around 1/2 to 3/4 of the bottom of your tray. Then divide your 600 fruit sample into batches for crushing, making all the trays the same. Adjust the gap between the roller ridges and the front plate to make sure that every cherry is split open as it is forced through the gap. Place a tray underneath, load a batch of cherries and turn the handle so that crushed fruit drop into the tray. Then simply pour enough sugar solution through the crusher to thoroughly cover the fruit. Let each tray stand for a few minutes to allow any bubbles to pop. Then carefully check the surface for any white eggs or wriggling larvae. If you see anything that might be a fruit fly, suck it up using the pipette and then examine more closely using a magnifier or a digital microscope. If you do find an egg or larvae, then send it to an entomologist to confirm whether it really is Queensland fruit fly. Once you've finished checking the trays, strain off the liquid and bag up the crushed fruit for disposal. Record the results including date, block, variety and result using either a data sheet or the Cherry Industry Australia app. To make assessments quicker, you can accumulate samples over several days. Keep them cool and then do them all at once. The process is pretty messy, so do the crushing in an outside or wet area to make the cleaning up easier.